Here are 10 tips for handling. Now let's call it mastering difficult conversations. I'm Sally Foley-Lewis and I fast track manager productivity. And let's face it, you will not go through your life without at least once having an awkward, difficult, yucky conversation. So here are 10 tips to help you survive, master that difficult conversation. Yes, difficult conversations stink. So here's some tips that I know will help you coming out smelling like roses. Tip number 1, before you do anything, avoid reacting. I don't know but if you're like me, I tend to react, and I know that sometimes gets me into trouble because later on I regret what I've said. And if you're like that, then this is the tip for you. Stop. Don't react. Just stop. And this goes with tip number 2, think. Think about what's gone on. What's the real problem? Whose problem is it really? What do you need to do? What's the solution that you think you need? This is the strategizing step. Think about what's going to move this forward for success. Tip number 3. When you're in the conversation or you're about to initiate the conversation, make sure you've got the right environment. This slide obviously tells you what not to do. So what you're aiming for when you have these conversations is somewhere where it's private and comfortable. And I know it's not always possible, but that's what you're aiming for as best as possible. Tip number 4 is around straight talk. Give it to them straight. Look, you know yourself, when someone's about to have a difficult conversation with you, you know something's up. So get to the point. Okay, don't beat around the bush, don't dance around the issue. Straight talk. Now, straight talk is not aggressive talk. It's just getting honest, open, and direct to what the issue is. Tip number 5. I don't know about you, but I hate being talked down to like I'm a baby. And I'm pretty sure lots of other people don't like it as well. So here, adult to adult. We can be adult about this. This is the problem. We need to make a resolution. That's the way we need to approach it. No baby talk, adult to adult. Tip number 6. Keep an eye on your body language. What is your body language saying to the other person? Just make sure you're not coming across as being aggressive or defensive or closed. We want to encourage an open dialogue. We want to encourage the other person to feel comfortable to open up and to work with you to a solution. So make sure your body language matches that. Tip number 7. It's a difficult conversation. Therefore, people are going to react. And that's normal. That's human. Everyone has their own way of dealing with things. Allow the other person to have their emotional reaction. The key here for you is not to get caught up in that reaction. If you get caught up in the reaction and start focusing on that, then you're taking the conversation off track, off topic. And that is not positive. Allow them to react, but then bring it back to topic. Tip number 8. And it's pretty obvious, let's avoid the blame game. Now there's a difference between finding out what went wrong and why versus blame. Make sure you're on the side of what went wrong and why, and being inquisitive and investigative for the better rather than the blame. Avoid blame. Tip number 9. You may have initiated this conversation, but you're not the only one in this conversation. When you really tap in, switch on your expert listening skills, you open yourself up for the opportunity to hear all sorts of things. You'll hear ideas, suggestions, solutions, value adds. You'll hear and take on information that you may already be missing elsewhere in your job. Listening, as far as I'm concerned, is almost mission critical to the whole difficult conversation success. So, really switch on your listening skills. And the final tip, tip number 10. No one likes to walk away from a conversation feeling as though it's unended, feeling as though it's still negative, feeling resent, feeling awful. Make sure you finish the conversation on a positive ending. That might mean that the other person has the last word. It might mean that you reaffirm or confirm the solutions, strategies, or actions. Whatever it is, end on a positive note. Let the negativity go. Be done. Let release that dove of peace. You get the idea. End positively. Now, before I summarize the 10 tips, I wanted to bring to your attention the book I've written called Successful Feedback, the one simple formula you need for highly effective feedback. The reason why I'm just bringing your attention to the book is because these 10 tips for handling difficult conversations, I believe, go hand in hand perfectly with the formula for feedback. Example, effect, change, commitment. When you bring those 4 aspects together into a successful feedback, you ensure that the other person understands what's going on. They understand the impact that has on others. They move forward with change and action, and there's a commitment to that. This book, Successful Feedback, it's short, it's sharp, it's to the point, it cuts through straight to what you need to know. It tells you what skills you need to engage in, and it gives you clear real-life examples or case studies where the formula has been used, both in giving supportive feedback, so praise, in giving corrective feedback, as well as when you're in a situation of having to receive feedback. This book needs to be on every manager's desk. It needs to be digested and shared. Get your copy today. So, let's get into the summary. 10 tips for mastering difficult conversations. 1. Avoid reacting. 2. Think and strategize. 3. Set the right environment for a comfortable conversation. 4. Use straight talk. Get to the point. 5. Converse adult to adult. 6. Have open body language. 7. Allow others to have their reactions. 8. Avoid the blame game. 9. Listen and then listen some more. And 10. End positively. I hope you use these 10 tips and you implement them in your conversations, especially the difficult conversations. These are really important tips. They might sound basic to some, but let's get back to basics and really put them in place to make sure you have successful conversations. Connect with me. I am absolutely passionate about helping managers have the skills they need to be successful. They need to fast track their productivity and their team's productivity. It is mission critical for me that managers feel empowered to think and act successfully. I know, because no one wants to fail.